it looks so fun. Well, it looks like Michigan Wolverines and the Montreal Canadiens had sex in the back of a car. We're so funny and edgy. We don't know nothing about history or uniform design. Jerk offs.
Hello there, all you Stay Tuners. Welcome back to another episode of Stay Tuned Sports. It's your good friend Jimbo here with our...
Hi, everybody. How you doing? It's King.
Is that like your hillbilly...
How you all doing? How's everybody doing? Gonna go down to the creek.
Yeah, crick. Yeah, so, not much going on this week, I guess, right? NFL news.
I'll tell you what. I did the schedule release last night when we were doing all this, and I gotta tell you, hard to do.
Yeah,
it's hard. Like when you're just kind of sitting there doing anything, like it's hard to do when you're just trying to make you're running through the matchups and you're like, let's see what kind of marquee matchups we have here for this week and week 4 and week 5. You're running through everything. It's like, I realized about halfway through, I was like, man, this is something. This is something. And so I saw some of the other channels are good like that, and I'm going to be talking about some of them there because I got some beef. I got beef. I don't want to start any trouble. I already said that before in my other video. I don't like starting trouble with other more popular YouTubers or people that have more views or anything like that. But some people need to mind their mouth. And we'll get into that in a moment. But yeah, the schedule release was something. Although I don't know if you saw it or not, because I know you've been busy. Yeah. But I was running through it, man. Your Eagles should be fine.
I mean,
so it's not even funny.
Today, when I was at work, I was like, you know what? Obviously you're gonna be talking about the Giants schedule. I'll be talking about the Eagles schedule, and then I got into my head of like, you know what? Maybe I should try to predict the Cowboys, the Commanders, and the Giants schedule as well, and see where they'll land in the division. And I mean, right off the bat with Philly, I got 14-3, and really, I think
I wasn't too far off. I was. I think I had you guys at. I think I had 14-3, and I said at probably worst was 13-4. But I was like that when I went through the schedule. I had the same thing. I said, first of all, your schedule is soft as baby shit. I think we've already talked about that. Like it's a real soft schedule.
It's a good give me back like in hockey when the refs have to give a free call back because they messed up the other call. NFL messed up last year with us by making us go through that gauntlet of teams at the end of the year there.
The gauntlet of teams, like the Giants twice and the Cardinals and the Seahawks.
Niners, the Cowboys.
Yeah, that gauntlet of,
Yeah, so it was a nice little gimme for the NFL giving us a little bit of an easier schedule. But here's the thing though too is it's fun to talk about now, strength of schedule and this and that. It don't mean shit once the season starts because.
Well, I was pausing because I figured you had more to say there.
Yeah, say like the Commanders, for example. Okay, they're definitely one of the shittiest teams last year in the league. They could be the Houston Texans.
This was the point I was going to make last night when I was talking about the schedule, and you're going through the schedule to try to see what the marquee matchups were for the weeks. And as I was going, I said I got to about week 6 or week 7, week 8, and I was like, we're basing like what we would consider to be a marquee matchup on what we know now. But I said halfway through the season, there could be some games here that we're looking at right now as being like, oh, this is going to be garbage, and it's like, oh no, this is going to be a matchup we want to see. Yeah. Like who knew that the Texans and Colts last game of the year last year was going to be a game that everybody wanted to see. You know, but it was because it was basic. It was a de facto playoff game. You know, if Houston won, they won a division and got in the playoffs. If Indianapolis won, they won a division, they got into the playoffs. That's what it was. You know, like, so when you think about it, like, that's crazy. So that was, I was going to say, that's exactly a point that I made last night on the live stream, was that, you know, where you can look at the schedule and see, like, oh yeah, no, this is going to be a good matchup, or oh, this should be an easy run. You know, you don't know that. We don't know that yet. Like, we're basing this all on last year, you know.
Yeah. And you figure, you know, obviously with last year, new draft picks, free agencies coming and going, head coaches being fired. So, I mean, you know, a lot could change by week. I would even say by week 4. By week 4, I think you should start seeing who's really who. You know, Eagles, you know, if we're 4-0 and we're blowing out teams by 30 points, okay, you know.
I don't know about that.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but I'm just saying, though. But if we're losing those games, then you're going to start questioning, be like, are those teams that we just played better than they were last year, or is Philly just that much worse than last year, which we shouldn't be. But the one thing I do want to bring up, and you made a comment in the group chat about the Jets 49ers opening week game, that it's a what was your exact words? It's a measuring stick game.
It is, yes.
It's so you're saying now. I think you also did say, kind of explaining yourself, was for the Jets, it's a measuring stick game for them because of all the offseason moves they did. Correct? Is that what you're trying to say?
It's a measuring stick game for the Jets in the fact of we're going to see how all the offseason moves worked, and if Aaron Rodgers can stay healthy, where they are talent-wise, skill-wise, and where we're going forward in the season, kind of right off the bat. You know,
and see, that's why I disagree with that statement you made, because I'm just going to flat out use Kansas City last year. Going into the season, Super Bowl favorites. They're going to win the Super Bowl, you know, this coming year. Granted, they did, but week 5 and on, we were questioning if they were even a Super Bowl contender because they were not the Kansas City team that we were expecting.
Okay. To rebut that, let's look at that same exact game. Who did they play?
Well, that's stretch. So I forget who they played.
Not that stretch. That opening game last year. Who did they play?
Okay. I forget.
And see, this is the problem with your argument. They played the Detroit Lions. And everybody before the season was like, "Why are they playing Detroit? Detroit, oh, they missed the playoffs. They're, I still think Dan Campbell's this and that and the other." That was, for the Lions, a measuring stick game. They were up against the defending Super Bowl champions. They went into Kansas City and they won. And what happened? They were a quarter and a half away from making the Super Bowl this year and having the season end with the same matchup. Like, that's what I mean. That was a measuring stick game for the Lions. The Lions, we found out that day, oh shit, the Lions are real. And the Lions turned out to be real. So I think that's what I'm talking about. So I think that's what we're going to have, the same thing with the Jets here. They're playing San Francisco in San Francisco, opening Monday night again. Again, you got to hope. I know I can't remember his specific name right now. I'm bad at sports podcasting. Whatever, yell at me. But the same player who sacked him and tore his Achilles last year on the Bills on Monday night is now on the 49ers. So same player, same opening on Monday night. The only difference is now they're out in Santa Clara instead of the Meadowlands. That to me that's the measuring stick game. How is the Jets' offensive line going to look, revamped as it is? They have a ton of weapons. Their defense somehow got better. Like, this is what I mean. This game is going to tell everybody where the Jets stand, because they're going up against a team that is perennially good.
Yeah.
The Niners are I mean, they were in the Super Bowl last year. Should have been in the Super Bowl last year if the Eagles weren't dirty and knocked out Brock Purdy. You know, and again, this is a team that is stacked, loaded, ready to go.
So let me ask you this then. So let's just say, okay, you're saying this is a measuring stick for the Jets. Let's say they blow out the Niners by 20 points, 25 points. And then week 2 comes and they just lay an egg. What does that mean?
I don't know. Does that mean it was it a fluke? Was it
Well, see, that's my point.
Was it a letdown? Or was it a fluke or was it a letdown? But again, you're talking about a hypothetical. Now we're getting into alternate history here. Like we don't know yet.
Yeah.
So, but what I'm saying is, like, again, you can only go by what we know. Like I take your example of that Kansas City opening game. You tried to use Kansas City as the example. Kansas City wasn't the example of a measuring stick game. Kansas City is the measuring stick. They are the one you measure against. They're not somebody that you measure with. That are like, oh, is Kansas City good enough? No, Kansas City's the standard. As of right now, they're the standard. That's who you measure up against. And the Detroit Lions measured up against them very well last year. And look, they were real.
Yeah.
Now, again, to your point, like, oh, Kansas City, they hit a lull in the middle of the season where we're all wondering, man, are they even going to make the goddamn playoffs? And they did, and they made it to the Super Bowl, and they won it because, of course, they fucking did.
Scripted, that's why.
I don't understand your aversion to the whole measuring stick game of using San Francisco as the measuring stick.
That's what, like me personally, I don't like basing a team off of one game, like with the NFL.
No. I'm not basing a team off of one game. I'm not saying like. I'm not saying if the Jets beat the 49ers on that opening Monday night that bam instantly put them in the Super Bowl. It's a guarantee. No, nothing's a guarantee in the NFL. All that's going to say is though is they are one of the better teams because they were able to go into a hostile environment opening night, Monday night, against a team that everybody knows is good. We all know San Francisco's good. That's the thing. Like, there's no questions about San Francisco. Nobody has a question about whether San Francisco is going to be good or not. Nobody has a question about whether San Francisco's going to, play well. Everybody's going to be healthy. There's no injuries to worry about there on opening night. Brock Purdy's not coming off a Tommy John surgery. Like, everybody's there. Everybody's healthy, both sides. That's what we're going to find out. We're going to find out how Aaron Rodgers' ankle is, how his Achilles does, how the offensive line does for the Jets. Do their weapons still have it? Are they going to be able to mesh and do well? How is that defense going to do against the 49ers and their weapons? Because we know the Niners are stacked with offensive talent. So that's what I mean. Is like that's what we're getting. And that's what I mean. That's why I'm so confused by why you don't. Like what are you trying to say? Like that's what I mean. Like that's the measuring stick. The Niners and the Chiefs, the two teams that were in the Super Bowl last year, went to fucking overtime.
Yeah. To
decide the Super Bowl. Those teams are the standard. They're the measuring stick for everybody else to determine how good are we. Where do we stand?
Well, see right there, like how good are we? So,
yes.
Like you're saying about no hypotheticals, whatever. How good are we? So okay, they beat the Niners. And then lose the rest of the season. Are they still good? No. They suck. They just won one game.
No, but that's the thing. Is like then you'll see that's bad. And you're like, it's an outlier. But that's something you can only know then. For that moment.
I would... A measuring stick game to me would be like...
The Super Bowl. To you, It has to be at the end of the season, the Super Bowl. Then it's going to be like, oh, we're going to see if they're good here. If they win here, they're good.
I would say by the middle of the season. That's when you can start throwing the measuring stick phrase around.
Yeah, but they're not playing the 49ers in the middle of the season.
I'm sure they're playing one of the top tier teams, the Bills. The Bills are.
The Bills are not a measuring stick team anymore. They've lost all their offensive talent. They had to cut all the Bills. The Bills ain't it. The Bills ain't it anymore.
All I'm saying is, me personally, I don't think you can say a measuring stick until the teams really start playing with playing. I almost pulled a Charles Barkley there, playing together, gelling, and you'll I think you get a better idea of who's better than who. That's all I'm trying to say. I understand what you're trying to say with, week one, strictly not thinking down the road or anything like that. So,
all right. Well, here, let's take a look at this real quick. I'm gonna put this up here. I have the Jets schedule in front of me. So this is what we're gonna do. Let me put this up here real quick. Okay. So the Jets open up the week, like we said, with San Francisco. If they, I don't understand how you're saying that's not a measuring stick game. Like that is the only other team that you can put better than San Francisco is Kansas City, and even that is debatable, considering how Kansas City kind of played last year. And even Kansas City being iffy last year, what were they? They were like 14-3 or 13-4, something like that. They weren't awful last year.
No, because
like they had a low, but they weren't bad.
They started off hot and they just got real cold for a few weeks there, to the point that made everybody start questioning, question if they're a Super Bowl contender.
But like, here's the thing: like, if the Jets beat the 49ers, like, do you think they're losing to the Titans the week after? No. Then they play New England at home. Do you think they're losing to New England rookie quarterback Drake May, who I'm not particularly high on, but I mean, New England's got brand new coach, brand new quarterback, not much else.
Yeah. No.
Right. Denver, brand new quarterback, rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. Jury's out on him. Sean Payton seems to like him, but, does Sean Payton still have the magic with him? I don't know.
I think that one would be a toss-up, just because of Sean Payton.
Minnesota Vikings, rookie quarterback, J.J. McCarthy is, what is that, week 5? Are they going to have a chemistry yet? Like that. Like, none of these are measuring stick games. Like, this is what I'm trying to say. Then you have Buffalo week 6.
Okay.
At home. That's not Buffalo's not a standard anymore. Buffalo's not up there with Kansas City like it was the last couple of years, where it's like, oh, it's Buffalo. Like, name a Buffalo wide receiver.
Van Scantlin, or however you pronounce his last name.
Yeah, MVS.
Yeah.
Just go MVS. That's probably the easiest way to go. The guy who dropped almost every ball that he had last year in Kansas City.
You didn't say they had to be good. You just said name a Bills wide receiver.
I was going to say, and that's their marquee guy.
I think they got Chase Claypool too.
Dude, Josh Allen's going to be.
He may pull a Danny Dimes.
Listen,
my neck hurts.
People are going to finally realize it's either you're going to think that Daniel Jones is actually a good and serviceable quarterback, or you're going to realize that Josh Allen ain't all that great. One way or another, we're going to find something out next year between those two. Because Buffalo ain't got nothing. They don't have any offensive weapons, and they don't have an offensive line that is, I mean, granted, it's probably better than the Giants' offensive line, but that's not too hard.
Yeah. So how annoying are you going to be if Josh Allen is shit and Daniel Jones puts?
Dude, I'm gonna strut around. I'm gonna be naked on here, covered in chicken fat. I don't care. I'm gonna go nuts. I'm gonna go nuts on this. You got the Pittsburgh Steelers. That one actually will be tough. I think the Steelers, because just for the Steelers defense.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
New England again. Houston, that'll be a tough game, but that's at home. That's at MetLife. Cardinals, like, this is what I mean. They get a late season bye, too. They get a week 12 bye.
That's the other thing I got to bitch about. You're going to ease the schedule. Yeah, we got a freaking week 5 bye. Why even have a bye week?
I was going to say, that's rough. That's a little rough.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, that's a little rough.
But, I mean, Houston could be a measuring stick game. I mean, they were...
Houston, by that late in the season... Depending on where the Jets are, how the injuries are affecting them, where they are, that could be a measuring stick game for them, or that could just be good on good. That could be this could be an AFC Championship preview, something like that.
Yeah.
Again, we don't know. Or does C.J. Stroud have a bad year? Does he have a regret? A regress year, sophomore slump?
Yeah.
Is that something that happens? Does having Stephon Diggs on the team causing problems do that? Because we all know, listen, the Texans have a lot of good young receivers. And we know that if Stephon doesn't get his touches, he gets a little cranky. He gets a little mad.
Someone's got to give him a Snickers.
So it's again, by that point in the season, we won't know, and it's hard to say like at this point where you're going to be week 9, week 10. We don't know. Now you're talking about the midpoint of the season. Nobody knows what the fuck is going on. We're just basing on that. Right. That's why it's easier to make the measuring stick game week 1.
So you say about injuries and everything. By that point, Aaron Rodgers walks out his door tomorrow. Achilles pops. Still a measuring stick game? Injuries can happen whenever.
They can. But that's still. But that doesn't change the point that it's still. If Aaron, I don't like you're.
You have your idea of a measuring stick game, and I have mine. That's all.
Yeah, but your idea of a measuring stick game isn't a measuring stick game. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. You're maddening. You are maddening times. You.
John Madden would agree with me.
We were talking about blood pressure earlier, and I got to tell you, man,
I warned you yesterday. And that's why I don't want to say nothing in the chat.
I'm not to the point of Jason Kelsey walking off, but we're getting there.
That's funny.
We're getting there.
Yeah, that was funny. and you know what? ESPN. I just want to say this. Thank you. You did all of us a good service by saying bye-bye to RG3. Thank God he could go, run.
Yeah, nobody outside of Booger, like RG3 was probably the one that people didn't really like.
Yeah.
As being part of the he's just granted it's not, and listen, it's not anything personal against him. He's just a lot of it came off as like a tryhard. He came off like a tryhard, like yes. He was just trying too much. Like he was just trying to be something he wasn't. I think if he was more just him, it would have been fine. But instead, it just didn't work.
Yeah,
it just didn't work. So, but
I don't think he'd be a bad sideline reporter, though. Just little bits and pieces happen.
That doesn't take much, though. And I know some people are gonna say, "Oh, the sideline reporters are so important." Are they? Are sideline reporters really that important? I don't know about that. But yeah, I just listen. Kelsey's a good personality. He's gonna work well. I'm interested to see what happens with Netflix. I'm interested to see how that all goes and how that turns out. And whether
how
or
so?
not.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
Who do they get to announce? Who are they going to get for? Are they going to have somebody else try to produce it? Are they going to produce it in house? Are they going to? Because I think I learned somewhere today that Amazon, all their stuff is produced by NBC still.
Okay.
They have an NBC production crew and stuff like that. It just so I guess they kind of either pay them or rent them out, or I guess or whatever. But the production crew is NBC. So I wonder is Netflix going to try and again do this all in house, all this through Netflix? Or are they going to kind of lease it out, try to get Fox or ABC or Disney or somebody to come in and help them with the production. But then it also comes to who do you get to announce it? Who's out there? Who would you pull from? Are you going to pull somebody from one of the other networks, one of the other lesser known people? Are they going to be able to do that? Because again, it's a one-time thing. It's a one-day thing. 2 games.
Or did NFL negotiate with them to use some of their guys, say Peter Schrager? Reese Davis, is he?
No, Reese Davis is with ESPN.
ESPN.
He's the college, which
Rich Eisen.
They're going to be right in the middle of the college football playoffs, so It's not going to be
Yeah.
Reese.
But like some of those.
And Schrager's not an announcer. Schrager's great for
Yeah,
Good
I'm just
Morning
using
Football and
names
things like that. But he's not. He's not an
examples.
announcer.
Yeah, but like Mike Mayock, like I'm just using NFL Network names.
Maybe,
or NFL
yeah, no,
names,
like you could,
maybe
like that's what I mean. Is like, but I don't know because it's not an NFL Network produced situation though.
But maybe that was part of the agreement. Like maybe the wording in the contract, something like that.
Well, this is what I mean is we don't know that we know what it was, but we don't know who's going to help come in to produce. Now the thing is, NFL Network didn't have their own because NFL Network when they had like Thursday night games, those were produced again by I think at first was CBS and then it was Fox that they had as the production people. That's why sometimes the Thursday night games would also be on those channels, like it would be on NFL Network and Fox or NFL Network and CBS.
Yeah.
Especially early on. So again, NFL Network didn't even have their own production. Like it went out to one of the networks. So that's going to be
Here's
interesting.
something that just popped in my head too. Is part of this deal is Netflix is going to be doing like a documentary series of Dallas Cowboys, the cheerleaders, and this and that. The other.
Are
thing.
they? They're already. There's already one out there. I don't. They're doing
It's going to
another.
be on. It's going to be on Netflix now.
Oh, okay.
And HBO is part of it. So who owns HBO?
Time Warner. Warner, yeah.
Which is
It's now it's Warner Brother Discovery or whatever it is. Yeah.
So is that like a sister of NBC or Fox or anybody like that?
No,
Like maybe,
that's their own
okay,
company.
So that's just their own. Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm just going through my head of how it would circle back to maybe NBC or Fox that they could pull some of those.
No, although we got the there's a new Hard Knock series coming to HBO.
Yeah.
Not only did we have obviously Training Camp, which we don't know who that's going to be yet. Not only do we have In Season, which we don't know who that's going to be yet, but now HBO has decided to add Off Season with an NFL team. And guess what lucky team gets to be part of that right off the bat?
Hopefully they're not wearing the Montreal Canadiens football jerseys.
First of all, shut the fuck up. Listen. I'm about to fight. So we're gonna get in that. Don't think I forgot about you, Scooter Magruder or Brandon Perna or any of you other guys out there. I'm coming for next now. Not really. I don't want too much smoke, but keep disrespecting that uniform, that beautiful, glorious uniform. We're gonna get into that, but So the Giants are gonna be opening up the Hard Knocks off-season series. I think they said that's starting sometime in June or July. So it's gonna be like July, running through that early part of August, and then that's when the training camp, whoever's going to do that, will take over, and then from there will be the end season. And apparently this is going to cover everything between like January, since the Giants, since the season ended, through to I guess past the draft. And maybe even further than that. So we're getting, everybody's like, oh, I can't wait to see what they were talking about with getting rid of Saquon and doing all that other kind of shit. And it's like, I'm sorry, that's not that hard of a decision. Saquon is oft injured. Saquon when he was on the field wasn't that impactful. It is not worth the money. Oh, you're saying that Daniel Jones is worth more? Yeah, a quarterback is always going to be worth more money than a running back. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's the case. That's the case of the matter. And the fact of the matter is, Daniel Jones got his contract and his money by single-handedly dragging the Giants to the playoffs that they had no business being in the 2022 season.
Yeah,
none whatsoever.
The only thing I'll say is you're the only Giants fan that I've seen okay with saying bye to Saquon.
I've seen a few. Not a lot. Yeah. There's a lot more of the, we should have kept Saquon. Why are we keeping Saquon? No, I'm sorry. If you're one of the people saying that we should have kept Saquon and gotten rid of Daniel Jones, you don't know ball. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Stop it. Sorry, you don't.
Yeah.
Listen, can Daniel Jones turn out to be, like, if he gets this chance again after his injury, comes back and is absolute garbage? Yes, it is, and I'll eat crow and everything like that. Does that still mean that we should have signed Saquon and not him? No.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Saquon is not worth any of the amount of money that they wanted or that he wanted. No, not worth it. For his injuries, for his production or lack thereof. Like, again, the problem it started with the fact that the Giants drafted him second overall.
Yeah.
Which that's, I mean, there are some rules. There are rules here. We live in a society. Like, you should not be drafting a running back in the top 10,
I was going to
maybe
say
even
10,
15. I know some teams do, but like overall, like you should not be doing that. It's just you can get them later on. It's not that big, and listen, if we look at the NFL today, I mean, running backs are a dime a dozen.
Yeah,
they are. I'm sorry, like unless you're, and even even with Derrick Henry. Who is maybe, that's the one you think of, most impactful running backs in the NFL in the last 5 years. Like one of the most impactful playmakers. You can see him. He runs people over and then runs past them. Like he's strong and he's fast. Like he's everything, the perfect package. What you were kind of hoping Saquon would be.
Yeah.
And even he was to the point where the Titans said, no, not for that money.
Yeah,
like it's. I don't understand where people think like where are you putting this value on Saquon? Where are you putting this? Where are you getting this from?
Well,
I'm sorry. Listen, I can understand if you think that overall talent wise he's better than Daniel Jones or he's better than somebody else or something like that. But at the end of the day, if you give anybody that choice between an oft-injured, unproductive running back and a starting quarterback that has had troubles, let's not sugarcoat it. Like his first couple seasons were bad under bad coaches and bad coordinators, and just he was bad, had bad turnover problems. But then showed out when he had some stability and a good coach to drag a team to the playoffs that had no business being there. And then the following year had his offensive line actively try to murder him.
I love when you say it that way.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, Daniel Jones has the potential to be a solid NFL starting quarterback, which is, I mean, the Giants need they need some stability.
Yeah.
They need something there, and that's it. Now, if you can protect him, which is the same for any quarterback. If you can protect your quarterback, that's half the fucking problem right there.
Yeah.
But you're going to ask anybody, would they take, that injury-prone running back over a starting quarterback in the NFL? I'm going with the starting quarterback. I'm sorry. That's what I'm doing. So, and the fact of the matter is the Giants didn't draft a quarterback this year, which shows that they have at least a passing faith in him, especially when your GM and your coach weren't there when he was drafted.
I wonder if that's going to come up in the off-season.
Maybe. And that's the other thing too, is like you have somebody here where they could have wiped the slate clean. They could have said, you know what, we're gonna do like what the Broncos did with Russell Wilson, but obviously for a lot fucking cheaper. We're moving on. He's not our guy. We didn't pick him. We inherited him. We're gonna move on from him and get somebody who's our guy. And instead of doing that, they said, we're gonna ride with Daniel Jones when their jobs are on the line. If the Giants don't do well this year, Daboll's probably fired. Like if the Giants have a 3 or 4 win year, we're like he's done probably before the end of the year.
Yeah.
And then Joe Shane, because he did, like let's say Daniel Jones absolutely shits the bed.
Okay.
Then he might then Shane might be gone too.
Yeah.
So, like when you have people that are willing to put their jobs on the line and say, we're going to run with him. This is who we're going with. And you saying you would still pick Saquon Barkley over? Get the fuck out of here. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry. At the end of the day. And you can come at me. You can say, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And that's fine. That's what we're here for. We debate sports. And that's fine. I may not know what the fuck I'm talking about. But for now, this is what I'm saying. And I've been saying it for a while. The idea that somehow Saquon Barkley was the Giants' answer. What the fuck did he do last year? Like,
Yeah.
everybody wants to talk about, like, oh, well, Daniel Jones fucking sucks. He didn't do anything. What did Saquon do? Did he drag the Giants to the playoffs last year where they didn't deserve it?
Nope.
Did he outperform? Was he performing and doing miracles for the Giants? No. And you're going to sit there and say the same thing. Well, the Giants didn't have an offensive line. They didn't have any block for him. Guess what? Daniel Jones didn't have that either.
Yeah.
So right there, you're already talking about your argument's already, up Schitt's Creek. So, at the end of the day, the Saquon apologists and the Daniel Jones haters, shut the fuck up. That's all.
So circling back to schedules, what was what's your thinking about the Giants schedule as far as like record and
Okay, let's take a look here. Let me pull this up here.
just trying to get your blood pressure down a little bit.
Oh, that's not going to happen. That's not happening today. We are jacked and ready to go. Let me pull up the Giants here, and
So I did go through the Giants schedule. I got them 8 and 9.
I have them not too far away from that. I think I had them at the low end 9 and 8 at best. I think I had them at 10 and 7. But because let me see, how did I do this? I did. I have the schedule up now on the screen. So I have Minnesota. We play Minnesota week 1. I think that's a win. Rookie quarterback at home at MetLife. That's a win. Washington, that's a win. That's 2-0.
Okay.
Cleveland, that's a loss. So that's 2-1. Cowboys at home early in the season. Listen, this is where I get iffy on whether or not the Giants can be either 9 and 8 or 10 and 7. Is if we split with the Cowboys or if the Cowboys sweep us.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna give us the home game.
Okay.
So that's what
I marked that down to a loss so far.
That's fine. I put that one as a win, but can very easily be a loss. So that's a waffle game for me.
Yeah.
So right now I'll put it as 3-1, maybe 2-2, but I'll go 3-1. Seahawks, that's a win. Sorry, I don't think the Seahawks are that good.
Yeah.
So that's 4-1 I have for the Giants. Bengals fucking loss.
That was the quickest L I could give you guys.
That's at MetLife. I like our defense. I think we've improved. I think we've done other things like that. But Joey Burrow is going to be Joey Burrow. So I think the Bengals win that. Eagles at MetLife. I don't know. Because I'm going to be honest. I think the Giants play the Eagles better down at the Link than at home. We always seem to lose to the Eagles. We always seem to lose to the Eagles. I could just full stop right there.
I actually have the Giants losing at home, but then beating us at the Link.
I originally had that flip-flopped. I had us winning at home and losing down there because I think at the end of the season, the Eagles might be in a bit of a match. I don't know. It could be either way. They might be resting everybody at the end of the season, so it could be. But I'll say we split with the Eagles. So either way, it's going to come out the same. So right now I'll say 5-2.
Okay.
Pittsburgh, I'm going to actually put as a loss. I think their defense is way too good. It's at Pittsburgh. I'd like for that to be a win. So I have 5-3. Washington, that's a win, 6-3. Carolina, that's a win. That's in Munich, 7-3. Then I think this is where the fucking wheels come off. I think we lose at Tampa. I think we lose to Tampa Bay.
Okay.
So what's that? 7-4, 7-5, 7-4. Cowboys loss on Thanksgiving. So now it's 7-5. New Orleans, I think that's a win, 8-5. Baltimore loss, 8-6. Atlanta loss, 8-7. Indianapolis win, 9-7, and then Philadelphia loss, 9-8. So I have it right there. I have us at 9-8.
So me and you were pretty close as far as wins and losses up until the bye week, and after that we were just totally opposite.
I think that's 9-8, and I think if you flip if Dallas sweeps us, then you switch that to 8-9. Here's the thing I'm gonna say with that. I honestly think 8-9 keeps Dable his job.
How much would say they're 8-9, but Daniel Jones sucked? Does that factor in?
No, I think if the Giants are 8-9 and Daniel Jones sucks, I think he stays even more because it's like, wow, he coached that team and Daniel Jones turned out to be a piece of shit.
Okay.
So, and then the Giants can go into the next season being done with like his guaranteed money's done, so they can just rip up that contract, move on from him, and either draft somebody, trade for somebody, do whatever. If Daniel Jones is good, here's the thing though. I think if Daniel Jones turns out to be the player that I certainly think he is, I hope he is, and a lot of people hope he is. Although apparently a lot of Giants fans are just rooting against him because, what's cooler than loving your team is rooting against your own fucking team, like a bunch of fucking idiots. But if he turns out to be the quarterback that I hope he is and think he is, like a lot of these other games that I had losses can very easily become wins. And then you're talking about a team that's got 10 or 11 wins. And now you're talking possibly playoffs. Now you're talking other stuff like that. But I honestly think the Giants are that they're a middle of the road, either just above or just below 500. With the 17 games, it kind of fucks it up. But I think they're a 500 team. I think. And I know some people are going to say they're a lot worse than that. I know that I said initially I was like Giants 17-0, maybe 16-1. I think that's on the stream. I was fucking around with everybody, but I think I honestly think that. Oh man, my hoodie's falling apart. Oh no!
Yeah, just like Daniel Jones.
I swear to Christ. Jesus Christ on the cross, we're gonna have a problem. But also,
you set me up for that one.
I need to get into this.
Uh-oh. Let you have the floor.
The simple fact that people don't understand fucking uniform design or history or fucking anything is so goddamn infuriating. It drives me up a goddamn wall. Now, I put a video out earlier today. You can go watch it over on the Stay Tuned Sports YouTube channel. For our podcast listeners out there. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Like, share, and subscribe. And you've probably already seen it. Hope you did. I'm sorry. These are the uniforms I've been waiting 20 fucking years for. These giant Centennial jerseys, this is what I've wanted. And they executed it to perfection. These uniforms are glorious. The helmet, the wing design, the flying wing design of the old school leather helmets. And I miss it. Nope, see, it's different. It has the little extra notch in there, just like the leather ones did. See, it's all right. See, they paid attention to. They didn't just slap a fucking Michigan Wolverine helmet on and said, "Oh, change the colors, it'll be fine." No, they paid attention to detail. They paid attention to history. They knew what they were doing. Same with the jerseys, with that nice red jersey with the blue band in the middle, outlined by white, perfectly done. Oh, it's the Montreal Canadiens. Oh my God! Read a history book. Huh? Why don't you go ahead and read? Why don't you look at some of those pictures? Yeah, no, that's sure. Yeah, no, strictly. Only reason they did it was to be the Montreal Canadiens. Does nobody have any critical fucking thinking skills anymore? Does nobody actually know what the fuck they're talking about? Does anybody just want to do even the slightest bit of research? Or it's just like, oh, uniform look funny, not normal. Uniform look good. Oh, I got to say bad now. Funny. Go fuck yourselves. That Giants uniform is throwback perfection. Throwback perfection. It's up there. That Bears uniform that they've been wearing the last couple of years, that throwback, that's another one that I think is absolutely lovely. People want to make fun of the Steelers Bumblebee uniforms. fuck yourself. Those uniforms,
Garbage.
mwah, beautiful. Love them.
Garbage.
Those uniforms are wonderful. And even the ones they had, I remember the 75th one from back in 94 that the Steelers had. With the pattern, it had the Pittsburgh crest on the front. You know, it was like those were mwah, beautiful as well. You know, properly done, well executed throwback uniforms are a thing of beauty. And the Giants absolutely fucking nailed it. And to see a bunch of troglodytes on fucking social media, and I'm gonna point out fucking Scooter Magruder. And I know nobody else, I know he's a bigger channel than us. Everybody's a bigger channel than us. We have fucking 30 subscribers. I get it, okay? But I see him on Twitter shitting on Giants. By the way, Mr. Scooter Magruder, Mr. Cowboys fan, do you not remember the Cowboys in the 90s wearing those ridiculous, oversized fucking stars on their shoulders, looking like absolute... I'm trying to say stuff I don't want to get, like, you know... deep. I mean, we're not monetized, but stuff that would get us demonetized. I don't want to say anything like that, but like first of all, you have no room to talk about what is or isn't good or good looking or anything like that. So sit the fuck down. And Brandon Perna, Mr. That's Good Sports, Mr. Denver Broncos fan, after what your team released this year as their new uniform, with the weird fucking triangles on the back of the fucking helmet, with the Chargers lightning bolt basically on their shoulders. Oh, it's supposed to be mountains. The fuck it isn't. That's, you know, hey, let's San Diego Superchargers. Here we go. Except it's Denver. And then the uniforms before that, I'm sorry, were ass. I have yet to find somebody that likes the Cyber Horse.
Yeah.
The logo sucks. Those uniforms sucked. Yeah, you won 2 Super Bowls or 3 Super Bowls in them. I always forget about Peyton Manning. I think Peyton Manning forgets about Denver too. Oh, he lives there now. I'm sure that's fine. But still, those uniforms sucked. Like Denver, they have their throwback, which was perfectly done. That all they had to do was make that their regular uniform, and everybody would have been happy. Even if you went with a darker shade of blue, it still would have worked. But no, you went with this weird concoction. So you don't have any room to talk about what is or isn't good uniform either. Uniforms. I'm sorry. I don't know what to say. And then the Houston Texans, everybody's talking about, oh, these Giants uniforms might be the worst uniforms I've ever seen in sports. Are you out of your goddamn mind? With what Houston released this year? Those monstrosities? In fact, they have a uniform that is just Satan? Not that I mind it. Hail Satan and everything. But they basically have they have a devil uniform. Their uniform would look great if their name was the Devils. If the New Jersey Devils were a football team, that's the uniform they would wear is the Texans' alternate uniforms. And their regular uniforms aren't much fucking better.
Yeah.
So we're going to sit here and shit on the Giants uniform when we've already had 3 uniforms this year that we can already point at it as being objectively terrible? Everybody needs to relax.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to take a breath and realize that...
The Eagles throwback jersey was better.
Which one?
The 75th anniversary. My favorite one that...
The 75th anniversary one, that was still green. That was still the green one with the big gray center stripe on it. I think you're talking about the Eagles 75th anniversary one.
Yes.
The baby piss yellow and baby blue?
Yes. That was a very good jersey.
Those were...
A lot better than the Giants.
The worst.
I'm sorry, a lot better than the Montreal Giants.
See, here's the thing. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing.
Mean, they do look like the Montreal
I
Canadiens
know what you're
jersey.
doing. And I'm not falling for it. I'm not letting you go be into this. I've said my piece. It is, and I honestly hope these are ones I hope the Giants keep, like the Bears did for a couple years. I hope the Giants keep these for a couple years, especially that help. Like I said,
so
to put them as a regular, like alternate or throwback. Like if you wanted to change the pants to be gray instead of khaki, I think I'd be okay with that.
Okay.
Like just as a little aside, but outside of that, don't touch these. These are perfect.
So now you obviously got your homes, you got your ways. Is this your third jersey, or is this just a one-off game?
No, this is our throw. So apparently, what it is the way the NFL is. I think you have 4 uniforms now,
Okay.
or can have 4. So you have your home and away. You have a alternate, like, because it used to be what they would have as a colorist is now your alternate uniform,
Yeah.
and then you can also have a throwback if you want.
Okay.
So that's why I know, like some of the teams, like I don't know if Tampa has an alternate yet, but they have their throwback, their creamsicle. So they have their home, away, and creamsicle. And some of the other teams are doing stuff like the Jets. Like, they just changed their uniform, so they don't really have a throwback because they changed to their throwback. So they have their home, away, and then they have their alternate, which is the all black. So again, it's a new rule. You can have 3 helmets, 3 helmet shells, 3 different shells now, as a maximum. So I think the Giants this year have their home and away and their NY helmets. I think they still have, as the alternate, is going to be the like the Sims era Giants uniforms with the Giants on the side of the helmet and the darker blue helmet and things like that. And then they have these as their throwback, their Centennial Throwback. So the Giants have a total of 4. I know they're wearing these 2 times this year. I don't know when. I don't know if they released that or not. I don't remember. But I know they're wearing them twice. And I want to go to one of the games where they're wearing them because they're beautiful. I love them. They're so good. I want to buy these. I haven't bought a jersey in a long time because I can't afford fucking jerseys. And if I do buy one, I might buy it from China because I'll be damned if I'll give my money to what is that? The Fanatics? I almost said FanDuel. But Fanatics and their shit quality is terrible. So I'd rather take my chance with a jersey covered in lead paint than trust Fanatics. But I would definitely that's definitely one of the jerseys I want to get. Would be these throwbacks.
It might just be cheaper to buy a Montreal Canadiens jersey and slap a Giants logo on it. But it's funny you said you want to go to one of the games when they have the throwback jersey. I don't know if I'm just getting old and the whole price ratio of do I want to go to the game or not go to the game type thing. So when the schedule got released, I remember it used to be when the schedule got released, a month later is when the tickets went on sale. I don't know if this happened last year, but this year, schedule got released. As soon as it got released, tickets went on sale, right? And I was like, all right, let me look at what games. Maybe I'll take the wife, take the kid to his first ever NFL game, even though he's a Ravens fan. So I'm looking at like September, late September, no later than that. And I think I was looking at like the Falcons or maybe, some of that's going to be shit. Nosebleed seats, up next to Jesus, behind a dumpster. $200 fucking.
Now, is that from where? On Ticketmaster?
On Ticketmaster.
Okay,
and
so
then
but who knows? I know they do that dynamic pricing now. I know ticket prices are weird, especially with second. Is that secondary market fucking sellers like StubHub and even Ticketmaster does it. Like they also sell secondary tickets. So
yeah.
Those tickets get bad.
This was straight from Ticketmaster. So I clicked off verified seller. So it was just, it was just a verified ticket. And then I even went to TickPick, which I got a couple Flyers tickets from. So I had good experience with them. So I'm like, I'm going to check these out. Cheapest one, $180. I'm like, Jesus Christ. So before I walk in there, I already dropped $500-$600. And then you got to figure your food and all that shit.
Yeah, no.
Nope,
it's
not going to a game.
A long term. Listen, the people have, normal, regular people have been priced out of going to sporting events for a while now, I think. Unless you know somebody or you can somehow get a deal, usually you're not getting tickets. Or unless you decide to save up your money all year, like a good little boy, and splurge on one game where you're gonna have to spend $700 to $1,000 just to walk, just for the privilege to walk into a stadium. And do all that, Now,
I mean, if our fans want to send me and you to a Eagles-Giants game, head over to buymeacoffee.com/STSports. make a little donation for us.
You can do that. You can absolutely do that, ladies and gentlemen.
Or
that
go to our team store, or our team store, or our merch store.
Go team!
But yeah, I was pretty disappointed. I was like $200, man.
No,
I'll tell you this: I never told you how much I spent on the outdoor game, and I'm not gonna tell you the full price, but I paid right around that price for the outdoor game. That I would not mind for like a. Well,
it's a specialty event. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is like that's a specialty event.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind spending that type of money for that type of game.
Here's the. I'll tell you what though. This is where you get the difference between like normal people, like normal sports fans, like your NFL fans and your Swifties. You know, $5,000 doesn't stop those motherfuckers. $5,000, I got to fly to Europe and I can get to those deals. Well, fine, I'm going to fucking credit card debt the rest of my life. I'm buying it.
This isn't a shot towards your fiance or her sister, because obviously I like both of them. They're all probably still living at home, so they don't have no mortgage or no car insurance bills or anything like that.
That's not true. Well, again, that's not true. That's not true. Because neither one of them are living at home. They live in their own homes.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They're the minority.
No, I don't think that. No, that's not true either. I think there's a lot of strong, independent women out there who are putting themselves into an astronomical amount of debt just to give this woman another $1 billion, and then complain about how she's a billionaire. So listen, you made her one. That's not anybody else's fault but yours.
It's the old phrase, you made that monster.
But yeah, so it's just a case of how much the issue is now you have to be somebody who makes a significant, like you have to make over $100,000 and probably more than that now, especially with Bidenomics and everything. Not getting into politics, I'm just saying. If you've gone to the grocery store, you know what you're living through.
Yeah.
But like you have to be in that area to be like, okay, I want to go to a couple sporting events, or I want to go to a game, or I want to do something like that. Otherwise, if you're just a working stiff 9 to 5, making like between $30,000 or $50,000 or $60,000 a year, sporting events aren't for you anymore. Like it's just they've said stay at home. But also to be fair, to be honest, it's never been better to be a stay-at-home fan. Now again, you're still paying money out the ass. But here's the thing. Even with all the streaming options, even with NFL Sunday Ticket, with even all of that, for the amount of money that you're paying for that is like worth 1 or 2 tickets to a game. So if you rationalize it that way, all of a sudden, it doesn't seem that bad.
Yeah.
So, and I saw other people complaining about too, because Netflix got the Christmas games. Like, oh, another streaming service we got to get. First of all, it's 2024. Who the fuck doesn't have Netflix?
Yeah. And honestly, Netflix is like going outdated because they've been around for so long now.
Yeah, but now here's this is them trying to get their foot. Like I said, they just spent all that money to get WWE Raw. They're doing a lot of these live comedy specials. I think they have the Tyson and Paul fight coming up, right? So they're doing a lot more of live TV. They did the roast. So this is them dipping their toes there in the NFL, in the sports market. So that's all of a sudden now something that could come up, whether that's going to be for hockey or baseball or whatever. But I think that's the next step for Netflix and coming up. But like the people complaining about do you not already have Netflix? Do you not already have Amazon? And I was having an argument with a radio personality on Twitter, Mike Carver, I think his name is. And he was coming back like, yeah, but when you take into account like Sunday Ticket and the cost of Netflix and the cost of Amazon Prime and the cost of Peacock and all that stuff, then it comes out. I was like, okay, I understand what you're saying, but Sunday Ticket isn't a necessity. Sunday Ticket's a luxury. You don't have to pay the $500 to get NFL Sunday Ticket. You don't. It's nice. It's fucking incredible. The red zone is amazing. I love it, but it's not a necessity. You don't have to pay the money to get it. And like I said, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I can't afford it. I would love to. I've known people. I go to people's houses who do have it, and I watch it there because that's fucking amazing. But like, I know I can't afford that, so I don't do it. As far as everything else, like again, already have Netflix, already have Amazon Prime, so I can watch the Thursday night games. Everything else is on. ESPN. I mean, who doesn't have ESPN or at least the ESPN app or anything like that? Like that's there. If you have anything like that, the only one I do have, I agree with him on. The only one I have a problem with is Peacock.
Okay.
Because number one, the Peacock app is fucking garbage. It's ass. It's straight up stank. And the fact of the matter is that when NBC got those exclusive rights for the playoff game last year, and now they're doing the Eagles and Packers Brazil game to start off on Friday, where you can only watch it on Peacock. It's like now you're forcing people to pay money to NBC, who already has the rights to it, so it should, by all rights, be on free TV.
Yeah.
But now you have to pay $6 or whatever it's going to be to get Peacock. And now you're stuck with a subpar, terrible app that you don't want, doesn't have anything on it, and barely fucking works. Like I have Peacock. Like we have Peacock here in our house.
Yeah.
Because we watch WWE. We're big, so they have the pay-per-views on there or premium live events, whatever they call them.
Yeah.
But even so, like trying to watch those on that app is fucking terrible. You can't stop, you can't pause, you can't rewind, you can't do anything like that. Like the WWE network beforehand was great. When they switched over to Peacock, garbage. The Peacock app has been garbage since the start, and it still is. So the fact that they kind of force people's hand to buy a shitty app that they otherwise wouldn't get. See, that's the thing. Everybody already has Netflix because Netflix has shown its value. Amazon Prime, people have because it has shown its value, not just in a television sense, but just in Amazon Prime and getting shit delivered to your house in a day. Like, come the fuck on. That thing's amazing. That's where I'm like, you can't. I don't buy the argument where it's like, oh well, I have to buy all these things. It's like you already fucking have it, and if you don't, please join the 21st century. But with Peacock. That one rubs me the wrong way. That one fucking bothers me. So that's the only real thing about this whole NFL streaming thing that bothers me.
As far as I go, I'm actually curious to see, like, this might not, this isn't really sports related, but that the deal that Comcast made where they're gonna have a bundle for Netflix, Apple Plus, and and Peacock. And me right now, I get Peacock for free because I have Xfinity Internet.
Right.
Well, Xfinity is Comcast, so I wonder if that'll be free for me since I got the internet, blah, blah, blah. But I'm curious to see with that, though. But I do know last year with Notre Dame, because Peacock did that with the Notre Dame games last year, that there was a few home games that were strictly on Peacock, that you had to purchase the Peacock app to watch the Notre Dame games, too. So I guess that's going to be their thing for the foreseeable future.
No, I'm not a fan of that. To me, I find the Notre Dame one a little less egregious because, I mean, NBC has given them money hand over fist for fucking 70 years or whatever it is, So, like, I can understand it's like Notre Dame, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. Sure, we'll do one or two. If you decide to play Toledo on Peacock and Peacock only, it's like, if you're a Notre Dame fan, you're going to do it. If not, I can miss it. It's not a problem, like that doesn't bother me so much. But still, it's an issue because it's an app that nobody wants and nobody needs. They stole The Office off of Netflix, which is terrible because now the only way you can watch The Office is on Peacock. And like I said, the Peacock app is such a piece of shit to try to work. The fucking stream stops after every episode. Like it just glitches all the fucking time. Like there's nothing good about the Peacock app. Nothing.
I never have any of those troubles. I never have any of those troubles. I actually got to stop it from going to the next episode. Like as the little timer clicks.
No, it has that, and then it'll stop. It'll glitch. It'll do all that kind of shit. And I have better internet than you do.
Yeah, no, I know you do.
We got Verizon Fios here. Like we're 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 zooming here. So it's like it's not a case of, well, your internet sucks. No, your internet's fine. It's the app that fucking sucks. So,
But what else we got? Anything?
like I said, not much. We were talking about some of the schedule stuff. I know we were wondering about like how they were going to work those Christmas games, and that was the thing. Is I think what we found out was, let me see, what was how did they do? I think it was like the week before, like that Saturday is going to be. Hold on, let me pull this up real quick because I wanted to make a point of this.
When they're playing the games.
Yeah. So what it's going to be is like week 16. That Saturday is going to be the Texans are playing at the Chiefs, and the Steelers are at the Ravens.
Okay.
So the Chiefs and the Ravens are home that Saturday, playing the Texans and the Steelers. And then the next week, which is going to be the Christmas games, the road teams become the home teams, and they flip opponents. Okay. So now instead of the Texans playing the Chiefs in Kansas City, it's going to be the Steelers versus the Chiefs in Pittsburgh. So the Chiefs are going to travel to Pittsburgh, and then Baltimore, instead of playing the Steelers in Baltimore, they are now going to travel to Houston to play the Texans. So because everyone's wondering, like, it's a Wednesday game, how are you going to schedule that? And this was kind of the only way you could do it, where you can still kind of have that minimum 4-day gap like you do with Thursday games.
Yeah.
And have it make sense. So that was one of the big questions, and that's how they ended up answering it. I guess that's the most fair.
I mean, I don't know how much better you can make that situation.
Listen, I think the best thing you can do is get rid of Thursday night games. I haven't liked them for 20 years, but here we are, and we still have them. And they're not going anywhere. And now we're just moving into the rest of the goddamn week.
Yeah.
Like we got Friday games coming up here. We got like just the opening week, the week 1 of the NFL is going to be Thursday.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on, I got a video there. It's going to be Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. Is 4 out of, so there's only going to be 3 days out of that first week where there's not any football. And then you're talking about, and then when you get to the Christmas one here, now you're talking about there's going to be a game on Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Like when you run through that for that week schedule there, for if we go to that original one, week 16.
Yeah.
Week 16 is you're going to start off on that Saturday with those teams with the Chiefs, Steelers, Ravens, Texans, whatever like that, all 4 of them, whatever. So you're starting that Saturday, Sunday, Monday, then Wednesday the Christmas games, Thursday, Friday's off, Saturday again, Sunday, Monday. Like this is going to be so much goddamn football. Not that I mind it.
Might be. I was going to say I might be burnt out by the.
Especially if we're doing live streams. Like we said, we're going to do live streams of a lot of the games this year and shit like that. Like it's going to get a little much. It's going to be a little much this year.
By a week and a half into that 2-week period, me and you are going to look like Bob Uecker from the Cleveland Indians Major League Baseball movie.
How dare you? Like how dare you say that name? How dare you? It's the Guardians. It's always been the Guardians. It's never been that other name. Ever. How dare you?
One last thing before we go. I did see this graphic. I think it's from NFL Network because it's got all the NFL logos and shit like that. Revenge games for 2024. Did you see this one?
I did. I saw in a passing of the graphic. I didn't see the whole thing though.
So
I don't remember the exact matchups.
Yeah, week 2 you got the Steelers at the Broncos. Russ returns to Denver.
Maybe we don't know. Maybe Justin Fields is starting by that point because Russ is just that goddamn bad, which is a possibility.
Yeah. And Justin Fields don't like veteran quarterbacks, so he may just sabotage them.
Mike Tomlin just might be just like at that point be like, because Mike Tomlin don't give a shit. He's just be like, listen, I'm here for my job. You're not gonna do it. Yeah. I'm gonna put the other kid in.
Week 5, Buffalo at Houston. Stephon Diggs.
Houston should win that game. At home,
Week
they're playing
10.
at Houston.
Yeah. Week 10, Giants at Panthers. Burns returns to Carolina.
That's a win for the Giants. He's gonna have a monster game. Panthers. Oh, listen.
It
People
has to
want to
be.
say the Giants aren't good. Oh, what did you? I love how people said, "What did Germany ever do to deserve this game?"
Yeah, really gotta ask yourself that.
Why are we asking those questions? And not only that though, I think it's gonna be a bad game, but I think it's because the Giants are gonna blow them out. The Panthers they're not a good team. They are organizationally a mess, and that trickles all the way down from Tepper down, like a thrown drink on a 5-year-old. That shit just trickles down, and that team is an absolute mess. And who knows? Maybe they fire their coach again. Halfway through the season or 4 weeks in or whatever the fuck it is that Tepper's going to do.
If they fire their head coach before his end of his first year, Goodell's got fired. Tapper, whatever his name is too.
And it's so funny. It's so funny because we all celebrated we finally got rid of Dan Snyder, just the absolute cancer that Dan Snyder was. And then it's like Tepper comes in and says, "How you doing? How y'all doing? We're from Carolina here. We're a little bit more south, but we're also a little bit more crazy." It's like, son of a bitch.
It's almost
Can't
like
catch a break.
So when Snyder's walking out the door, he was walking in, and Snyder goes, "Here's my drink." I'm here now, guys.
You thought he was crazy, son of a bitch. Wait until you see the shit. I'm going to throw drinks on kids. It's going to be crazy.
And then the other one that obviously is going to really get the Giants fans fired up, Week 7 and 18, Philly and the Giants. Barkley plays the Giants.
Why would we be fired up for a divisional rivalry game? I don't know why.
Fired up that why do we get rid of Barkley? We should have got rid of Daniel Jones and blah blah blah.
Well, I saw somebody say that Week 7 game is going to be Saquon Barkley returns to the Meadowlands. I'm like, to be honest, he's probably going to be in a press box, being on the fucking 4th week of injured reserve. So let's pump the fucking brakes.
I'm gonna laugh when he runs for 2,400 yards.
And listen, he might. History says he won't, though. History says he's going to be on the IR. That's all I'm saying. I run with what the trends say, and the trends say you guys bought a lemon.
Well, and
you bought a lemon. Make the call to 1-800-LEMON-LAW. That's what you need. You're going to need a lemon law on this one.
That's who the Giants should call for because those jerseys get their money back.
Maybe the greatest throwback jerseys in the history. Stop. I know what you're doing. I know it. I'm not. No. I know what you're doing. I'm not going to let you do it.
I have to look up.
I'm not going to let you do it.
Fight song is and play that every time the Eagles and Giants play.
I'm not going to let you do it.
I will say this: how cool would it be though, if one of the Eagles Giants games, Eagles wear their away classic jerseys from the early 90s, and the Giants wear their Montreal Canadian jerseys. It would be a hell of a game.
I would like to have the color on color more often, and I think I think that's a game you could do. I think whenever you have a red team or a blue team, or in this case, you'd have a red and blue team against a green team. It's enough of a contrast of colors that you could do that color on color matchup, like how USC and UCLA both wear their color uniforms when they play each other, because it's that nice, beautiful, light collegiate baby blue versus the scarlet of USC. That's a beautiful game. I love watching that. I would like to see that more often. Maybe they'll put in for that. I don't know. That'll be cool. I always hope for that one day they'll allow the teams that have that enough of a contrasting uniform, colored uniforms, to go ahead and do that. But I think if you're just straight up green and straight up blue, I don't think you can do it. But let's say you're the Chargers going up against the Raiders, baby blues versus just having them wearing the solid blacks. Come on, that'll look great.
Yeah,
I think that, the Rams versus the 49ers, blue versus the Niners scarlet. That looks good. I think I like that. As a uniform guy, as a logo nerd, as a uniform nerd, I like that.
All right. I think that's going to be it for this week.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the schedule.
Talked about
We didn't
shitty
get to run through the
uniforms.
Eagles one. I was going to run through the Eagles one to see. Oh, we did run through the Eagles one.
Yeah,
A little bit.
Yeah.
But like we both kind of agreed with that. We ran through the Giants one. We ran through the Jets a little bit. We talked about the greatest throwback uniforms in history and how people have got to stop disrespecting it.
Philadelphia Eagles one.
Scooter Magruder there and Brendan Perna and really everybody else on Twitter who thinks they're fucking. It looks like Michigan Wolverines and the Montreal Canadiens had sex in the back of a car. We're so funny and edgy. We don't know nothing about history or uniform design. Jerk offs. Bunch of fucking idiots. What the fuck you talking about?
We're gonna get out of here before we get ourselves in any more.
Aneurysm! I'm having an aneurysm!
So till next week, this is your good friend Jimbo.
And it's your uniform nerd king.
Go Montreal Canadiens.
I'm gonna reach through the screen and fucking punch you, I swear to Christ.